Ladies and gentlemen, today a review of 28 Years Later, directed by Danny Boyle, the director of the original 28 Days Later. I genuinely really liked this movie, but I didn't love it. And I know that might be a little controversial. And I know that a lot of the reviews of this movie have been kind of all over the place, with some people like genuinely loving it and thinking it's one of the best films in the genre, and other people who genuinely do not like and appreciate what Danny Boyle was doing here. I definitely fall in the more I liked it more than I didn't like it category for sure. There's some wonderful things in this film, and there's some inventive ideas, and it really does show you that Danny Boyle is still an auteur director for sure. His directing of actors is actually always top-notch. Danny Boyle is just one of those directors who is able to get as much as possible from every single performer that is in his movies, for sure. And I should definitely give special highlight to Alfie Williams, who plays Spike, the young boy in this movie, who is truly the protagonist. He carries this movie. He has so much on his shoulders, and he does it well, and he delivers genuinely the best part of the entire movie, for sure. Also, Jodie Comer is in this movie as well, who plays his mother. She plays a very complex character, and I love the way that Jodie is just able to communicate the different reactions that her character would have in the moments that she's living in. And Aaron Taylor Johnson does a great job here as well, even though he is kind of sidelined for most of the movie. And obviously the horror aspects of this movie are also great. Danny Boyle is so good at creating tension and using the medium to its fullest potential, with score that is very high energy but at the same time suspenseful, and create an atmosphere that is just tension filled, and you're always on the edge of your seat kind of wondering what's happening next. I think most of my criticisms really lie in kind of the structure and telling of the plot and story here. This really is almost three different movies in one respect. The first story being about a father and a son going to traverse a world that is very dangerous. The second movie really being about a young man trying to help his mother and becoming her protector. And the third film, which really just kind of happens towards the end, is very separate from the rest of the film in a way that I think is not very easily digestible by most people. But I think there's so much good here that this movie deserves to be watched on the biggest screen possible. It's beautifully shot. I forget the director of photography's name, but this is really well made. It's beautiful and haunting and extremely well crafted. Though I will say that Danny Boyle has a decision here to do intercut scenes into the movie to kind of convey ideas about the communication of the world that he's trying to build, and I think that falls flat because it kind of outstays its welcome. But I do appreciate the world building here. Alex Garland wrote this movie. He wrote the original 28 Days Later. And I think here he does a good job of just kind of making the audience understand what happens in a world that has been ravaged by something like this for years, where humans decide to survive and build systems and understanding and education around what is happening. And then that way he's able to create a world that is on its own and almost harkens back to medieval telling of stories. It feels like the reason this movie was made to kind of communicate that. I should also talk about Ralph Fiennes, also an incredible performance here. Every once in a while he really does remind you of how good he is at just chewing scenery as much as possible. His character is both macabre, terrifying, and just sinister in a way that is both earnest and delivers the idea that horrifying, terrible things can happen to people, but it can also be beautiful in a terrifyingly dark way. And I think some of his parts are going to be where some audience are going to be turned away from some of the things that happen here. It definitely dives deep into very dark territory, but I understand its inventiveness in the story and can really say that I've never seen something like that in horror or in a zombie film in itself. All in all, I really did enjoy my time here. I didn't love it. There are some things that took me out of it, but this is a great movie. Absolutely. I give 28 Years Later a 7 out of 10. A fun, thrilling time. Danny Boyle is an actor's director. Alfie Williams, who plays the young protagonist in this movie, carries a lot on his shoulder, and he delivers. He's the best part of the movie. I love the world building. You really learn about the world that has been ravaged by this virus and how humans have to live with it. And it feels like a lived-in world. I do have criticisms of the plot and the fact that this really feels like many movies wrapped up in the one, and one just seemingly taking over for the other in rapid succession. But this is beautifully crafted, terrifying for sure, and definitely some dark moments that I think may have some audiences turning away for sure. But all in all, this is a hauntingly fun, inventive, and beautiful movie that I think really highlights how Danny Boyle can bring a lot of heart into something that is very terrifying. I had a great time. Thank you so much for watching. If you've made it all the way to the end of this video, I really appreciate that. And if you have the moment, I would love for you to comment down below how you felt about the movie, how you thought about my review, and any other film recommendations that might be of the 28 Days Later variety. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good rest of your day.